So recently, and maybe not so recently, I've picked up a new hobby. Now there was a precursor to this, which was in the winter, or fall to winter, my daughter started doing ice skating lessons. Now I had not been ice skating since I was in, I don't know, high school, college, maybe a little bit. So let's see, at least 20 years ago. And I hadn't been on the ice since that part. But my daughter was starting to get into it. So I decided to go to Facebook Marketplace and see if I could find some skates for cheap. I didn't really like the hockey skate feel, and I didn't need a figure skate, but I wanted something that was comfortable and something I was used to. So what I did is I got this. There we go. This. So this is a K2 ice skate, and it's got the blade on it. Let me just make sure I don't cut myself here. And it's cool because it's got a Velcro strap here. It's got the nice ratcheting latch, which you normally have like a roller blade, and then it's got this pull string, which instead of a tie, you just yank it and it just kind of holds. And this was nice because this is what I'm used to with rollerblading. Now I had rollerbladed for years and years and years, but again, even longer, I hadn't done any of that. So had this, really liked doing this with my daughter, and put that back. However, this is our second year doing it, as far as her doing it, but the first year for me to joining her. And what we didn't realize is in the summer, the ice rinks don't do public skating, which was kind of a bummer. I looked at renting ice, which is like hundreds of dollars, which didn't really make a lot of sense. It'd actually be cheaper to throw a kid's birthday party than to just rent the ice for like an hour. Go figure, right? So I checked our local rink, our other rinks that we've been going to, because we go to a local rink, but there's also a bigger rink, depending on timing wise of when open skate is, because they tend to kind of fluctuate a little bit based on the hockey schedules. But right now I think the hockey camps are all going on right now, so that's probably the reason why. So what we did to keep ourselves kind of in the loose, or used to being on skates, is I got my daughter some rollerblades, and we got me for Father's Day my own rollerblades. So hold on, I gotta detach them. So this is what I have, and if I had planned better, I probably would have moved the camera just a little bit further away, but yeah, these are bigger than I realized. Anyways, so these are rollerblades. They're RB80s, I think. I don't know. They're rollerblades, but they're a little bit different than what your normal rollerblade would be. Now, again, something that I do with all my hobbies is I dive headfirst into it. I do the research, I buy all the stuff, and then I typically don't do much with it. But this time, I am kind of trying to follow through with it. It's been a little bit harder just based on the heat and schedules, again, finding time to get on these that isn't, the weekend. So for lunch breaks and things like that, I've been trying to fit it in, but it's kind of hard. So these are Urban skates, which if I decide to not just use it for exercise, that's what's really nice about these. They are hard plastic all the way around with a soft insole boot thing. They are tie, which I don't love, but they have two ratchet straps on them, just like your typical rollerblades. But the big thing is that down here, these right here, it's all metal. So on your typical exercise blades, it's a soft boot, so it's super comfortable. These aren't uncomfortable, but this is all one piece and it's all plastic. These are a little more robust with metal down here, which I also think, yeah, you can also change these out if you wanted to put something else on these. And it's got this little weird thing here. These aren't like aggressive skates as far as like grinding and things like that. That's not anything I want to do. I wanted something with like regular kind of wheels. And I say kind of wheels because the whole reason we're doing this, or I'm doing this, is to make sure I can still ice skate once the rink's back open for open skate for September, you know, in the fall. So what I did in my research on is, instead of buying really expensive roller skates or ice skates, or I'm sorry, roller skates or inline skates that mimic being on ice skates, because a lot of them are either hockey or figure skates, especially since my boot is more kind of like a rollerblade boot, is I did this little angle here. So these right here, interesting enough, let me just see if I can cover my eyes so you can see. These wheels here are 80 millimeters, I think 80. And then the outside ones, you'll notice, are different colors. I try to match it to the boot because the boot's got a little bit of red on it. And this is 72, I think. They're just slightly smaller on either end. So it's got this kind of rocking motion to it, similar to the ice skate. If you look at the ice skate here, the blade, see if I can cover my eyes so you can see, it curves on here and on here. Yeah. So it kind of rocks. It sits in the middle for the most part, and then you kind of can rock back and forth. So this is supposed to simulate that as much as you can. There's like a $200 Mars Blade one, but it's a hockey skate where it actually hinges down here on the inline skate, so you can actually literally rock back and forth, but it's a mechanical mechanism rather than kind of causing an arc with the wheels. So instead, to do the cheaper option, I bought these really cheap Amazon wheels, which are already kind of falling apart, and their bearings aren't great. Certainly not as good as the ones that came on it. But I'm starting to learn all sorts of stuff about this, bearings and wheel softness or hardness, which another hobby that I'd gotten into last summer was scootering. We got a recent skate park, and that skate park our kids really like to go to. We got our kids scooters a while back. They're 3 wheels, 2 in the front, 1 in the back, and they really like going there. So I got I don't know if you call it an aggressive scooter, a trick scooter, whatever it might be. Basically, it's all fixed. It doesn't fold, because when you're on those kind of things, you don't want it to fold up on you, especially if you're an adult riding the scooter. So, I mean, I'm pushing the weight limit, but it's, I honestly can't even remember what the name of it is, but it's some scooter. It was like a couple $100, but we're doing that. And I was starting to learn about wheels and bearings and bearing pressing and getting bearings in wheels and things like that. So it was like kind of the precursor to this, just kind of knowledge-wise. But it's fun to kind of learn this stuff. You know, I used to really like cars and working on cars and having a project car around. The budget now doesn't accommodate stuff like that. I mean, I have the summer car downstairs in the garage. It still needs to be inspected, and I think I got to put the registration on it. But I can't do stuff to it. I can't modify it. Not because it's new and all computerized, but basically I don't want to spend the money on that, because we spend it on Disney trips and beach trips and other things like that. But stuff like this is fairly cheap to play around with and modify, and, you know, within reason. When I say cheap, certainly cheaper than playing around with cameras and things like that. But at this point, I think I have enough cameras, although could always use one more. So I don't know. But yeah, so that's my most recent hobby that I'm kind of getting into. It's 90 plus degrees out today, so I probably, with a really high UV index, I probably won't be doing that today. But maybe on my lunch I'll go out in the driveway. I don't know. I just want to try to stay loose and stay kind of used to being on these, because they also need to be really broken in. They're fairly new, since Father's Day wasn't that long ago, and I think they still need to be broken in, to be quite honest. But that is my hobby currently that I'm doing, and I'm really enjoying kind of getting to know and do this. I think I might go back to doing 3D printing as well. I have a giant 3D printer that's down in the basement, and when I say giant, I mean it's bigger than your normal ones. but it's not like you can print car parts with it. It's a bigger one. And so I might start getting into that. I actually want to, I've got a bunch of hats that I've collected over the years from Disney and other road trips and things like that, that I think I want to either put on the wall behind this camera or maybe on the wall behind me here. I found a 3D print where you can like print it out. It's like a clip, and you zip it to the wall with a screw, and the hat just kind of clips in and it's held by the little nub on top, and it kind of, you fold it inwards on the back and it kind of displays what it looks like. So that might be kind of interesting, and a easy way to store my hats, quite frankly, because right now they're all just hanging on the door and it's kind of a mess. All my camera bags and other things are on that too. I'm actually surprised that door hasn't fallen down off the hinges at this point. So we'll see how this hobby goes. At this point, I'm trying to do a hobby that, again, checks all the boxes. It's good for the health, so it's physical activity. I can do it with the kids, so I'm not spending time with the kids. I can, put my rollerblades on, get my son with his roller skates and my daughter with her inline skates, and we can skate around the driveway, whatever it might be. Ice skating, I'll do this with my daughter. My son runs, but I'm not really great at distance running, and just things like that. So health, spend time with the kids, and have fun. So I think it knocks off about 3 of those. So hopefully you can stick with it for a little while. I think my limit's usually about a month and a half for most hobbies, and then it kind of just dies off. It's a real struggle to kind of stick with stuff. Specifically hobbies and luxury time luxury items. Like there's a guitar sitting in the corner, and it's got more dust than playing time on it at this point. The cameras I use quite a bit, but if you don't have time, I guess you can't really do anything. So you got to find time wherever you can.